Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Monday, December 9th, 2024, and these are your unbiased updates. A coup in Syria. The dictator in power for nearly 25 years ousted. This morning, where Bashar al-Assad has supposedly fled to. Reaction from President Biden and incoming President Donald Trump, and what happens from here. And still on the run, how the suspected killer of a healthcare CEO has been able to elude a massive manhunt for almost a week, and if investigators believe he's still in New York City.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
This morning, Syria is waking up to a new era. After more than a decade of civil war in the country, President Bashar al-Assad is out, with rebel groups overtaking the capital on Sunday in a palace coup. Now Syria and its people are left with the question of what comes next as countries around the world, including the United States, react to the changing landscape. Jubilation in the streets of Syria as word spread that Assad had fled the country. State media reporting the president and his family landed in Russia Sunday, and Assad has been granted political asylum in Moscow. The toppled leader had been in power since 2000. His family had ruled for 5 decades. Assad was forced to vacate after rebel forces quickly captured city after city, leading them to take control of Damascus. Since the civil war broke out in the wake of the pro-democracy Arab Spring demonstrations of 2011, Assad's forces had been accused of brutal, severe human rights violations, including using chemical weapons against their own people, and held responsible for the death of more than 5,000 people and the displacement of millions of others. The rebels who led to Assad's ouster were headed by Abu Muhammad al-Jilani, the leader of the group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, who called this, quote, a victory for the whole Islamic nation. Jolani's group used to be linked to al-Qaeda, and though it has cut those ties, the United States still designates it as a terrorist group. President Joe Biden, speaking from the White House on Sunday, called the end of the Assad regime a, quote, fundamental act of justice. Biden saying the U.S. will support Syria's neighbors of Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, and Syria should any threat arise from this period of transition. Biden referred to this as a time of risk and uncertainty.
We will remain vigilant. Make no mistake, some of the rebel groups that took down Assad have their own grim record of terrorism and human rights abuses. We've taken note of statements by the leaders of these rebel groups in recent days, and they're saying the right things now. But as they take on greater responsibility, we will assess not just their words, but their actions.
Biden said Assad's downfall came in part due to his allies, Iran, Russia, and Hezbollah, being weaker today than when he began his term. President-elect Donald Trump issued a statement on his Truth Social platform earlier in the day. He posted that Iran and Russia are in weakened states right now, and he called for the end of the war in Ukraine. But Trump did write in a Saturday Post that the United States should not get involved with Syria, writing in bold letters, "This is not our fight. Let it play out." Iran's president saying it is up to the Syrian people to decide the future of their country. Amid the time of transition in Syria, the U.S. showed it will continue its efforts against ISIS in the region. U.S. Central Command said it launched a series of airstrikes Sunday targeting ISIS camps and leaders in central Syria, confirming 75 targets had been hit. United States officials said it will not allow ISIS to take advantage of the current situation in Syria. In his first network TV interview since winning the election, President-elect Donald Trump touched on some of his biggest campaign promises and his plans to start following through with them immediately when he takes office in January.
I understand that on day one, you're going to be signing a flurry of executive orders. Can you give me just what are the top ones people should know about?
A lot of it will have to do with economics. A lot's going to have to do with energy. A lot's going to do with having to do with the border. We're going to immediately strengthen up the border and do a real job. And some of the basics.
In an interview on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday, Trump also doubled down on his promise to pardon Americans jailed for their role in the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, saying they had no other choice than to plead guilty. Department of Justice records show more than 1,500 people have been arrested or charged in connection with the January 6th attack, and nearly 900 have pleaded guilty. While Donald Trump said he will not tell his nominees for FBI Director and Attorney General to go after his political rivals, he did share his opinion on what should happen to lawmakers who are on the House Select Committee to investigate January 6th.
And Cheney was behind it, and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think?
I think everybody anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
No, not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on drill, baby, drill.
After that interview, Liz Cheney issued a statement saying, quote, Donald Trump's suggestion that members of Congress who later investigated his illegal and unconstitutional actions should be jailed is a continuation of his assault on the rule of law and the foundations of our republic. Trump did reiterate multiple times during his interview he has no plans to go after his political rivals. But as we've reported here at Straight Arrow News, President Joe Biden is considering preemptive pardons for Liz Cheney and others who were part of the House January 6th investigation, as well as Dr. Anthony Fauci and Special Counsel Jack Smith. As the manhunt for the killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson enters a new week, the New York City Police Department released new images. NYPD calling the man seen in the images a person of interest, wanted for questioning for the deadly shooting outside the Hilton Hotel last Wednesday. One image shows the masked person in the back of a taxi. Another shows him walking on the sidewalk outside a vehicle. Police are hoping these pictures, along with others released last week, will help lead to the gunman. Over the weekend, authorities reportedly traveled to Atlanta and have been searching a lake near Central Park in New York as they continue their investigation. On Friday night, reports indicate investigators found a backpack believed to belong to the shooter. Inside, they discovered two items, a Tommy Hilfiger jacket and Monopoly money. Music mogul Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, has been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl alongside Sean Diddy Combs. In a civil suit filed Sunday, the anonymous accuser claims the assault happened in 2000 at an MTV Video Music Awards after party. The federal lawsuit was originally filed in October, only listing Combs as a defendant, but it was refiled yesterday to include Carter. Jay-Z, who is married to Beyonce, denied the accusation and said in a statement directed at the attorney who filed the suit, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one." Combs' lawyer also responded, calling the suit a shameless publicity stunt. In September, federal prosecutors in New York criminally charged Combs with racketeering, sex trafficking, and other offenses. He remains in jail this morning. His trial is scheduled for May 5th. Legendary movie director Francis Ford Coppola, The Grateful Dead, and the Apollo Theater were among those honored at the 47th Annual Kennedy Center Honors over the weekend. It was the first time a specific venue was honored at the ceremony. President Joe Biden was among those in attendance, a tradition President Trump did not continue during his first term in office, saying he did not want to be a political distraction, as some attendees had threatened to boycott his appearance. As Trump gets ready to start his second term in office, there are some questions about whether federal funding for the arts might be on the chopping block. Finally this morning, baseball is not set to return for another few months, but the best play of the offseason likely just occurred. Reports indicate the New York Mets have signed superstar Juan Soto to a 15-year, $765 million contract, making it the largest deal in professional sports history. Wow. They are luring him away from the Yankees. Sources telling ESPN the deal includes no deferred money and an opt-out option after 5 years. But should Soto decide not to opt out, his pay will go up an extra $4 million a year for the remainder of the deal, meaning in the end, this could be an $800 million plus contract. This also reportedly includes a $75 million signing bonus. The star outfielder's deal surpasses the record set last year by Shohei Ohtani and his 10-year, $700 million contract. Wow. I guess if you're a Yankees fan, look on the bright side. At least you didn't sign with the Red Sox, right? Those are your unbiased updates for this Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.